We're gonna close out the week with a Carversation. I don't usually do this. It's usually Tuesdays. I got a little bit of a drive ahead of me, so I figured I would do a bit of a chat because, well, a lot's been going on this week. Obviously, with election crap, everybody is back to the divisive nature of post-election, post-coital election highs and lows. So many people, guilty of just, I think, invoking race and identity as a means to be evil. And I'm not just saying it's one side. I think both sides are as guilty. I think in some small respect, the problem kind of arises when people believe like, oh, I'm just having a little fun. Like, why are you getting so butthurt over what I say? Again, as I've said before, and I know certain people have laughed at me for saying it, but I do think that exercising some sort of caution, when you're discussing topics, politics, culture, entertainment, I think to some small degree we'll say, for lack of a better term, being professional in your language is sometimes to your benefit, or sometimes benefit to the movement in general. And I find it more useful. As they say, you catch more flies with honey. I want everyone, like, at some point or another, we have to make progress forward. And again, I've seen a lot of people. I've actually seen a lot of good restraint from Democrats, right? Like, I think there's some people, whether it's performative or not, they've been pretty like, okay, this, he won fair and square. We accept the terms of the election, which, we could sit here and speculate that this is, subversion. They're trying to play nice, and they don't really mean what they say. I think if that is our assumption, we are no better than the people who we are fighting against, right? If we just jump to conclusions on that, got to give people some sort of chance to grow. If they're honestly accepting results of an election, great. We're going to have to pass judgment when we find out that they're actually not. I have seen some accounts that are saying that Trump stole the election, and that there was weird shit going on, which people that just like it was Trump's right to question stuff, and people Republicans to question the validity of the election in 2020. If people want to make that argument, let them build the case. If they think that's what they think is going on. But I do think, and I think most people are tired of race and identity being central to why something did or did not happen. Latinos did not turn out to vote. We did not vote in a way that is best for us. You have this monolith thinking by Latino pundits, by people who think they know better. Again, this is all about, in some small respect, centralized power in one area or another. This person didn't vote the way they should have because I know where it should go. It's one of the issues I have. And all the while, we have this conundrum of, I don't want someone in the office or in the office of the presidency who is disparaging a certain group of people over and over again, essentially beating them into submission, all while invoking their own racist rhetoric of it's white people that are the problem. Well, when you're told that you're less than, it's perfectly natural to run to whiteness. What? So you don't like when people are othered by a candidate you disdain, but you want to hold that right for yourself. Got it. Okay. And that's why you can't. It's why you can't take certain people seriously. And that's why I'll just take it to my grave. I don't care at all that I am like, I find myself in the center of everything. You want to call me essential? You want to call me a fence sitter? Whatever. I'm perfectly fine with that because I find that at some point or another you have to realize that both angles of this, both political sides are kind of full of shit. We all know that the identity politics game is not the way to go about it. But when you start using identity politics, not good. That's why a lot of times I hesitate to say things like conservatives do this or liberals do this. I don't necessarily want to use those terms because it's still I'm still roping in an entire group in that. Like there are subsets of these groups that partake in it. Again, left or right, there's people who, abuse their positions, on like their social media following, to try and get a message across. And I got into, I was in a little back and forth with someone yesterday on Twitter, who was trying to make the case that, misinformation should be legislated, that we should have laws against misinformation and that it's dangerous. What's dangerous is thinking that you know who is capable of properly legislating that truth. That's what's dangerous. Thinking that you have all of that worked out. That these are the people that are going to bring truth to the forefront. I don't trust Elon as far as I can throw him. Still, people are still getting blocked. Again, if you're but what the government doesn't have the right to do, the government does not have the right to put regulation on companies to restrict your speech. The government cannot overreach in that way. They're not allowed to say people are not allowed to engage in this. They can't talk about this, especially elections. That is a big, big no-no. But it's Friday. It's Friday. People should celebrate Fridays. It's a beautiful Friday here. It's cold, but it's beautiful. Cold and beautiful. I do appreciate those who have liked the stream so far. It's very nice of you. Thank you. I want to see people. I don't want to see people just say, "Oh, well, he says mean things." Yeah, no shit. Yes, he says mean things, and you know what? A lot of politicians engage in this shitty fucking back and forth mudslinging. Mudslinging is not even new. Trump just does it as a New York real estate mogul. Nobody likes that though. But these politicians have been slandering and libeling each other for decades. But it's only now that you see people like really leaning into lies. Well, and I guess the problem is, and I could beat this thing to death, and most of you guys already know, like, what people are done with and sick of is when, whether it's the Harris campaign, left-wing, right-wing pundits are talking about things that are easily debunked, right? There's no real nuance brought to them. And even Trump being guilty of this, when he talks about dogs and cats being eaten in Ohio, or the migrants taking over apartment buildings. Like, there's a level of nuance to those things that need to be understood. Is Trump partially right? Yeah, I think so. But you like, people are in the mood for truth. They see through the lies, and just saying things that were like memes on the internet don't help in a debate. And it's one of the reasons I think Trump won was because of how likable JD Vance is. He is, in many ways, Trump's opposite in how he presents. He probably is his opposite. Any thought that Trump has that he can't communicate, JD Vance will communicate 2 or 3 times better. And Trump needs that in some small way. Not that he needs like an apologist, but what he needs is, Vance to do. It's not even an apologist. He needs Vance to almost do follow-up interviews so people can understand what it is that we're going for and how his policies will affect Americans. Or like, Trump has said this. Like, can you clarify what happened? What's going on here? Yeah, sure. This is what we're up to. Like, at this point, if you're not understanding that Trump is not a politician that clearly articulates what he's thinking, well, I don't know what to tell you. And again, I think I've said this before. The difference between, people say, well, what about, you guys all make fun of Biden for not being, this beacon of clarity in how he speaks. I said, yeah, well, Biden has been circling the drain for years now, and at one point he was coherent. He did speak well, but we're not seeing that anymore. See a guy who has a really, really hard time because of cognitive decline, just staying on top of it. Trump's never done that. Never. He's always been a tangential freak. Anything that comes up is just like it's like he's chasing a squirrel around his conversations. And that, that's just the nature of who he is. And is he guilty of things that are not good? Yeah, like, I don't think I think whatever he is innocent of when it comes to like E. Jean Carroll and that whole mess, and whatever sham trial that may have been, like, needs to be sort of, I guess, talked about in a broader sense, because that's not something you're going to find online. You're not going to find a news outlet that is explaining how that trial could have been rammed through to make him look bad. Like, the Democrat establishment is a lot of things, but I don't think it's that stupid to out itself as, this is what we were trying to essentially take him out of this race. No one's going to explicitly say that. And that's a lot of times why people come off as a little crazy on the right, is that spend so much time saying, Trump is he's trying to, like, they're trying to take him out of the race, and it's almost like conspiracy theory light. And people are like, what are you talking about? Like, no one's trying to take him out of the race. Like, well, no no one on the Democratic side is saying that explicitly in positions of power. They're using words like, well, he needs to be locked up, for what he did. He's a criminal. What he did, like, people go to jail for, but like that, just again, that takes him out of his race. It's not explicitly saying, but in its own way is interfering with the election, or it certainly could have. Ultimately, we're going to be good. We're going to be fine. Like I said, it's Friday, so we don't have anything to worry about. We just get to clock in for a bit, do our work, and then off we go. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. It is bright today. Holy crap. Not one cloud in the sky. Not one. I love to see it. I don't know, like, I know people here, and those who watch this will understand what I'm saying. But I hope you guys get, like, there's much to be learned, I think, from people, like, nowadays. I think understanding where people truly are in their, like, political, cultural headspace, like, it's something to understand. Why did Latino voters turn out the way they did? Why did they turn out to vote for Donald Trump in a way that likely put him in office, and even after Tony Hinchcliffe's perhaps tasteless joke? If the Democrats are right and what he said was unprecedented and it was an awful, awful thing to say, then why did people turn out to vote for him? Like, I would like them to offer up something tangible and real. I've talked to a few people, a few Puerto Ricans that are like, doesn't really bother me. Like, he said a thing. It was a joke. Like, I'm here, I'm working hard. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like it wasn't something that they were like, oh, well, I know some people did. Again, everybody is different. But I would like to know, why did he get more in that vote? What are they grasping to? What do they believe in with Donald Trump? That's... And it sucks too, because I have people in my own family who are, and I know other people that are close to my family who, the same thing, they're wildly upset because Trump was elected, and things are going to be terrible now. And I don't know, like, what exactly is going to be terrible. Well, tell me, what do you think is going to be terrible? What is going to happen that is a cause for concern? Is it you're going to have to listen to this guy sound unintelligent for 4 years? Is that where we're at? We don't have like Obama, this eloquent, like, orator. I don't understand what it is that people are so afraid of, like, and again, what substance, what is the evidence that this may happen? What's up, Abbott Hoffman? What's going on? Static 2020's in the house. They keep saying prices are going to skyrocket because of the tariffs. Yeah, the tariff thing. tariff thing I'm so sick of hearing about. This week has been fantastic. It has definitely been a week that Republicans are proud of. And hey, I think people made the right choice. Here's my gentle take on the whole thing. Trump deserved to win because the Democrats abandoned their candidate once again. They abandoned Joe Biden, and then, in some small respect, abandoned Kamala or Kamala, whatever the fuck her name is, because I don't think they really wanted her in office. I think what Democrats really want is to get Josh Shapiro in office for 2028, so they have 8 years of presidency then. I think that's the play you're seeing. So because I think they would have had a real shot at beating Trump had they held a primary. Had they held a primary and not just put Kamala in place, it would have been fine. Yo, the Beast 808 with that fence sitter membership, brother. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, dog. Yeah, they abandoned Bernie too. Yeah, but with Bernie, it was much more explicit. I think Kamala was a bit of a. I think putting her in as the nominee was a bit of a shell game, because, honestly, and I've heard this from someone else, it probably would have been a better idea to keep. Oh shit! John D became a sponsor too. God damn, John D, my boy. I think if they had kept Biden in the race, it probably would have been closer. He would have had a more fighting chance. If the numbers from 2020 were true, if the numbers from 2020 were correct, they should have let Biden run. If it's not the shell game of okay, just let Trump have his way. If he wins the election, then we have a better chance at taking all three branches of government come 2028. Because things change too, you know that, right? The Republicans hold the Senate, the House, and the executive branch right now, but that can change much more rapidly if these people aren't doing their job. So that is another thing to take into consideration. And like I said, time will tell. And I think maybe there's a possibility that the Democrats are taking are playing the long game here. But I don't believe for a second that this wasn't a legitimate win for Trump. I think people showed up. They've been passing around. People have been passing around that chart of total votes. Democrat vote or total votes. Over the past 6 or 7 elections, and 2020 was the anomaly, not any other year. All the other years stayed consistent at around 167 million votes, and 2020 was it was a spike to 185, 190 million voters. That's the anomaly, and you gotta wonder. And here's the thing, and here's there's a good chance that because of a lot of the ballot harvesting and because of mail-in voting being the only way that people could vote, you may have seen an uptick. I don't know about 30 million or 20 million uptick. That seems like a lot, but it's likely that people are lazy, and given the fact that given that they can sit on their ass and not have to move, they might be more likely to vote. But the only way to really know is to lock people down again and see how that vote would turn out. Because a lot of those places, you still have the ability to mail in your ballot. A lot of new places. And changing voter laws mid-election is, is borderline nefarious. No, thank you. No, thank you. Well, thank you guys for hanging out, being members on being members here on YouTube, and if you're also a member on Twitch, I much appreciate that. Yo, the Rugged King's here. There wasn't enough data in this cycle as a whole to have an informed vote. They were too busy bashing each other. Yeah, I mean, well, here's the thing, and I disagree to a point. Yes, no, I agree with you. They spent too much time bashing each other. There was plenty of time to get her message out there, but they were going at the wrong angles, right? They still played identity politics. Instead, what she should have done is she should have sat her ass in her office and she should have worked up policies that people wanted to hear about. What are your specifics on changing the economy? What are your specifics on reining in immigration, whatever that might be, whether it's liberal or conservative? What are your policies that are going to be XYZ? There's like literally no reason to not do that. You're under the gun. You had 110 days to come up with this stuff. How are you sitting here like making fun of him? Like this is the game that neither Republicans or Democrats know how to play. We care less as people about what you have to say about the other person's character. I want to know what your policies are. And again, Trump is just as guilty of this. He's a little bit better at like giving you answers, but he's not nowhere near perfect. What is your plan? And if either of them had and I think people's perception is that Trump did the better job at explaining, and the other thing that helps him obviously is you have 4 years of a former, of his first term that wasn't bad in a way that they felt he did it. They felt he did a good job in his first 4 years, even with COVID being, and George Floyd, Summer of Love, COVID shit, like really was like a black eye on it all. But even that, the three previous years, we're okay with it. And it's just it blows me away that in 2024 these politicians don't know that that's the game. Again, mudslinging is a part of the game. Like you learn about that like term in social studies in like 5th grade. You learn what mudslinging is. It's just a tactic that they use. The problem is you put Gen Zers behind the wheel of, social media campaigns and all that. Like, this is what you get. Oh, this is what you gotta do. We gotta take what he says, rip it apart, make him look stupid. Like, you can make someone look stupid by being intelligent. Like, the way you do this is let this guy talk and be dumb, and then you bring forth policies that people want to hear about. And I'm not shilling for Harris here. I'm saying Trump needs to do the exact same thing. You need to get specific. You need to get on people's level. Kamala is Brat was her social media yeah. Well, that and her other big mistake, Nasmer, her other big mistake was rallying. Like, her idea of my campaign is I'm just going to go likely pay all these celebrities to give me an endorsement. Hey everyone, come on, like, I need you to say something nice about me. Can you like let everyone know how much you don't particularly care for Donald Trump, and let's all do this. Let's all get together. Let's all unite. And again, the Hollywood star has been dead for a minute. Like, there's not a whole lot of people trusting of what Hollywood has to say. So it's an interesting tactic to take when apathy has set in so hard for these people. But the bigger issue I see in all of this is that I don't think that Republicans are quite out of the woods yet. How long until he becomes president? He's sworn in on January 6th is when the results are not ratified. They're certified on the 6th, and then he's sworn in on January 20th. So got a couple months to chill. What just sworn in? I got groceries to buy, y'all. But it'll be a while before groceries come down if that's something that he's going to do. Yeah, no, it's it'll be an interesting couple months. We'll see what Biden does in his final couple months here. He's been largely missing over the past few months, and maybe that was to give Kamala a wider berth in her campaign. Maybe we'll see more of him, this month in December. But like I said, he still has time to, Biden still has some sort of time, just like Trump did. He's got time to make whatever changes he wants to try and push something through Congress. Ensure the peaceful transition of power. We'll have to go hard on the executive orders to get back to the 2019 economy. But yeah. And I don't necessarily agree with just the executive order way. I know that's what he's going to do. I know that he's going to roll back some stuff, and that's usually those first couple of weeks. Presidents usually go ham on their EOs, and they do what they think they need to do. I don't necessarily always agree with it, but the problem is that we need, we talked about this the other day. We've depleted a lot of our oil reserves. Gas is gonna. What we need to do, we need to find a way to pull ourselves out of Ukraine. We need to find a way, and I really do have faith in Trump that he could probably de-escalate the Ukraine-Russia situation and even the Palestine-Israel situation. He just seems to have sort of strong foreign prowess that leaders just don't want to really get involved with. And hey, we might see something vastly different than that. And that might not be the case, but it'll be interesting to see what happens foreign policy wise, because he's not someone who wants to continue war. If anything, he will look for ways to pull America out of these conflicts that are not affecting them. We listened to that. For those who weren't here, we basically listened to this dude the other day talk about how, like, if the U.S. doesn't police Russia, Russia's going to take over the whole planet. It was the weirdest shit to listen to. But it was like, it was just some crazy globalist rhetoric that was like, do you honestly believe that that's what Russia's just going to go unchecked if we don't somehow intervene? Yeah, I mean, isolationism isn't bad, and I mean, America's in a position where you can still have your FOBs around the world. You can, those aren't necessarily going anywhere. And then you can, again, spend time at home working on like what we have here. I mean, we all know that we have our issues here at home. And I think, and that's something I think that Trump is well aware of, is that there are many issues here in the United States that need to be settled before we get around to the international affairs. It's not to say that they're not important. It's just there are things that need to be done here on our soil, and I think that's where his focus is. And the whole tariffs thing is a very it's the first step in getting people to understand, like, hey, like, it can affect change on the country of export and also on the people importing, but it can have the effect of us investing in American-made products rather than foreign products. Like, from what I've understood about Trump's tariffs is that a lot of them kick in at a certain point, right? So once you import like over a certain number, that's when the tariff really takes hold. So it's not just like an outright, like, everything is, oh, this is my accent. Not everything is taxed. Not every item is taxed. It's up to a certain amount, and then everything over that is, the tariff really starts to take hold. Again, because I think there's a reality that some things we cannot get overseas, but also the understanding too, like, I've talked about it a little bit. Not all costs are passed on to consumers from tariffs. It largely depends on what it is that what companies are importing. So it's like an insurance copay. And yeah, I guess in some small respects. Yeah, like it. Yeah, I mean, there's tariffs have worked in the past. Do I think it's the most effective way? Not necessarily. But they have worked in the past. So, and Trump knows this. Trump knows they've worked. Trump knows the effects of tariffs on the countries abroad. Does it affect companies importing foreign goods? Yeah. That's kind of the point, is that, hey, stop importing from all these other countries. You have a lot of American-made products that can be utilized. Use those. Invest in American business. And a lot of times these tariffs, if the products are subsidized by the government, in order to offset, especially in China, which a lot of these products are, in order to offset, decrease in import, they're forced to lower the price of their goods anyway. So it does have an effect on foreign products. The issue is when you just have people talking about it who don't fully understand that that's the game being played, and it's not something you're going to see overnight. And I think, again, a large issue with people who follow politics or even comment on politics in sort of an armchair way is that they think that presidential candidates go into office, they flip a switch on the wall, or it's just a bunch of levers that they pull and push and buttons that they, it's not like that. All this stuff, if you call it economic warfare, whatever, it takes a lot of time. It's not an overnight like, oh, this is just gonna happen tomorrow. I was hearing JPB being unhinged this past year. I went to his Twitter and I finally understood why. He is hilarious when angry. Oh yeah, JPB is actually pretty funny. I enjoy listening to him. I really liked his one of his first interviews with Chris Cuomo. It was actually really good. It made me like Chris Cuomo a little bit better, because I think Chris is completely different off air. I think he was 100% different with him rather than like on CNN. Like you could tell, like CNN had just sort of twisted him into this like pretzel of ethics and morals that even he knew that he was like, that's not me. And you can't talk your way out of it at that point. Like this was, I think, a year ago that I was listening to that interview. I don't know, y'all. I just know that I gotta get over. How's everyone doing? Do we have a busy schedule today? Do you guys have a busy schedule? Are y'all hanging out? What are we doing? What's going on? I've been talking this whole time. You guys have learned to like say little because I can't read it all. Extremely busy. It's raining, so no main job. Wait, what's your... I can't see a damn thing because of the sun. A lot of product work today to sell. Nice. Is that your like laser etchings? Your that stuff? Is that what you're doing? Rock, I miss having you around, bro. I miss chilling with you, dude. You gotta, like, if you see us in Discord, if you're around, you should come hang out. I've been doing a bit better at like hanging out in my Discord and not just being a recluse. Just chatting with you, bro. How's your fam? How's the family? Ooh, it's hot as a mofo. No, that's good. No, that's fine, man. Just letting you know that anytime you're around, you're welcome to stop in if you're there. But yeah, no, I feel you gotta. Sometimes you gotta put your nose to the grindstone. Keeps your mind off of shit. Keeps you just moving. Keeps things coming in. I have, what is this? I have some hope, y'all. I hope I'm not like I don't know if I'm perceived as like a doom and gloom like person. I'm trying to call things as I see them. And I'm seeing things. I'm just seeing things. And I think what I want the best out of what's out there, you know. I'm just commenting on what I think could happen, what we could do a little bit better. And then from there, you know, hope people can take the message or they find the message. but I don't think that we're fully lost. I think Trump getting elected was a bit of a wake up call for people. Like, oh hey, things aren't what they seem. They're people are understanding that there is a cry for help in some respect. You can't keep them from climbing trees. That's the sad part about Utah is like we don't have like a lot of like trees around. So we have one tree in our nice truck. We have one tree in our yard, two, but like one big enough to like climb, and none of my kids have been adventurous enough to try and climb it yet. So that's been kind of nice. But Riot, my little one, he loves to ride his bike, and he wants to get a little motorcycle, like a little like electric dirt bike. I don't understand what Elon Musk is going to do by Trump's side. I don't know either. What's up, McCracken? Good morning to you, sir. Good morning. Good morning. We have tons in our area, but most are in the mountains. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the mountains over here, they have trees, but in my yard, like in the valley, nope, nothing. Got nothing in my house. And it's like one of the saddest things is like I look out as I'm driving like on the freeway, and it's just flat buildings and flat, and I'm always sad. Like, man, I wish, like, because where I grew up, it was like rolling hills of giant old trees, like forests and stuff, and not out here. It's too dry. Trees just don't grow the same way. Sad. A fig tree, those are great. Maybe I will. Doge, Department of Government Efficiency. There we go. Ooh. Wait, is that real? Is that really what's going to happen? Is that what he's doing? Elon helps get government audits going, and that he will be used to judge efficiency and decide what's got to go. It's possible. Hey, y'all, I'm actually heading into the valley here. I'm probably not going to have service for much longer, so I'm going to let you guys go. It has been a great, fun conversation. I'm glad people stopped by. Thank you guys for the new memberships. It's keeping the channel going. I am definitely going to be live more. I apologize for the long absence, but I will for sure. You will be seeing me more, doing more commentary on post-election shit. And then we have a brand new podcast coming in, movies, TV shows, and even video. Please keep an eye out on information on that. Keep an eye on Discord. We're always hanging out. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you on our next show. Love y'all.